The children's corner, as you like.
Now, good evening, folks, and welcome to another exciting edition of Thursday Night Gridiron here on the Sports Insanity Network. I'm Bill Murphy, here joined by my two great pals and awesome analysts, Mr. Danny Boy Reginald and the one and only Mark Old Ops Guy Halpern.
What's up, boys?
So, gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
I'm doing fine. No, little vaccine side effect. They ended up getting the booster today because it's appointment only in my area of Virginia. So I took the chance and got it, and not bad. I got the Moderna. Actually, not that bad. I'm actually feeling good, but it did put me to sleep.
Just be careful tomorrow, my friend. Just be careful tomorrow.
Yeah, I get mine on Saturday. I've been told that it's going to knock you out. So I'm like, fine, I'll do it on Saturday. I'm not missing football Sunday.
I got mine 2 weeks ago, and that I was feeling achy and I was tired. But we're not here to talk about vaccine side effects. We're not doctors, and we don't even play them on TV. Or do we? We're here to talk about another exciting week in the NFL. It's week 11. I can't believe how fast this season is going. You guys?
Way too fast.
Yeah,
Please slow down. Slow down, NFL.
Yeah, I can't believe that we're at week 11. It's crazy.
Yeah. So we got a good game to talk about tonight. Before that, we got some news for the week. For those of you who do not know what happened, Washington football team's Chase Young is out for the season with a torn ACL. The Washington defense, which is already struggling, they're ranked 27th in the NFL, and they give up 27 points a game, which is the fourth worst in the NFL. Mark, I'm going to start with you. How bad is this going to have an effect on Washington?
Unfortunately, Chase Young was the one bright star on the Washington defense, this season. And as of last season, he's a big star. And I personally loved watching him in college. And I was actually kind of happy Washington, got him. It's a nice young organization for him to start with. But he's had, his rookie year wasn't that great, a little bit of injury problem. And now this, to a defense that came out and stopped Tom Brady, and then to lose your captain on your defense, it's tough to swallow for them right now. They'll have to move on, but it's not going to be easy.
Reg, what do you think?
It's a huge blow to the Washington football team because of the type of season one he had last year and the presence that he brings on defense in general. Like, this guy, he's a young stud, great defensive end that Washington pretty much relied on for, the last couple seasons. And now that he's out for the rest of this season and, could be out depending on how he recovers into next season, that's something that you don't want to lose. Like that is a big defensive name you don't want to lose. But I'll give Ron Rivera and Washington football team credit. Not only did they play the Buccaneers and Tom Brady well defensively without Chase Young, they won the game. They could have easily lost it, once he was out. So I give them that credit, and let's see what happens. You never know. This team is starting to flourish a little bit, little by little. I mean, maybe a little too late to make a playoff run, may I say, but you never know. And, all they need is just a confidence booster. Once you get that confidence booster, boom, you can't be stopped. So I do give Ron Rivera that much credit. And, it's a tough loss for Washington, but hey, you never know. Maybe it could be someone's game.
Yeah, because like I said, the defense is just as bad as it is right now. And Chase Young was that only Chase Young, as Mark just said, was that only excuse me, tripping over my words tonight, was that only bright side. So now it's going to be even tougher for Washington this year. So, in that lovely division that we call the NFC, what, Mark?
The NFC Dallas Cowboys are the best, least.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Don't dismiss the Cowboys. You
I'm
can't.
not dismissing the Cowboys.
You kind of.
Like I said on the podcast, it hates for me to say I think they're gonna take it. And as a diehard Giant fan, that hurts to say.
Why does it hurt to say? It's the truth, though.
It is the truth, and the truth hurts. The truth hurts. Okay, so enough about me having a stroke over the Cowboys' 99.9% chance winning the NFC East. I don't think the good people want to see me have a stroke over this tonight, do they? So we got a game to talk about. And tonight's game is the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
All right. New England is 6-4. They're kind of neck and neck with Buffalo in the AFC East.
But I need a drink.
And the Atlanta Falcons, Any Simpsons fan would get that joke. But anyway, the Atlanta Falcons are in third, I want to say. Third or fourth
In the NFC or in their division?
in their division.
Third.
They're third in the NFC South. So let's start by shipping up to Boston. Whoa. Let's look at the Pats' rookie quarterback, Mac Jones. So far this season, he's got a 51.1 QBR, 69% completion rate, 2,333 passing yards, and 13 touchdowns. I think he's having a decent season so far. Danny Boy Reg, we're going to start with you. What do you think, buddy?
Well, I mean, Mac Jones is literally one of those quarterbacks where all he really wants to do is just learn from the best. He doesn't have to be the best quarterback in the league. I don't think he's striving to be the best quarterback in the league. He just wants to win. And if he wants to win, he is learning it from the right people. He's learning it from the right head coach. He's learning it from the right organization in general. Great offensive coordinator he has there too. And let's be real. All these free agent signings that we finally praise Bill Belichick for doing have panned out very well for Mac Jones. So even though his rookie numbers don't excite me, but his rookie numbers don't have to excite me. He can continue playing that boring football that we've been seeing all season. What matters is that the job gets done and you win the game. And the Patriots, once again, are winning. Okay. And yes, people keep asking, well, does this mean that, Bill Belichick is a good coach? Yes, of course it means it. Because if you could adjust within a year, if you can adjust from being a wonky team to being once again an AFC powerhouse and right at the thick of your division, then yeah, you're a good coach. So that's what it is for Mac Jones. It's not the fact that he has all these big time numbers, because he doesn't. But let's be real here. He has been good because he's playing smart and he's learning from the right people how to win. Olaf guy.
When looking at the Mac Jones situation, as being in the business I am as a card dealer, nobody had him towards the top of the draft, but everybody was saying that Belichick was going to grab him and turn him not into the next Tom Brady, but turn him into, unfortunately, I hate to use the word, a system quarterback. And I was ecstatic for the fact that he is getting to learn from the best coaching staff you can possibly ask for. I mean, look, you can share around the country. Different coaches have different needs. But for a young, raw quarterback, we saw what Bill Belichick did with Tom Brady. We saw what he did. And the question that was asked to Belichick this morning that I loved was, they asked him directly, what does it feel like to be in this season with, not winning as many games and, possibly going to miss the playoffs? And he said, what team are you watching? We're second in the division and we always win games. We only lose the close ones. And if you look at the New England record, it's not far from the truth. They lost to Dallas by a couple of points. They had that bad loss in Houston, but Mac Jones, ladies and gentlemen, is the real deal.
Yeah.
This kid needs another receiver. I mean, look, not to take anything away from Jacoby Myers, you got Damian Harris, but Mac Jones has a talent. You give him a star receiver and possibly a little bit more line help, New England's back in the playoffs within 2 years, if not this year.
Yeah, another one of those free agencies. What is it? Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne.
He's another one. He was in San Francisco for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's another one where Mac Jones can trust and to make a play, and that's what you need. He has everything. Sorry. He has everything that he needs, Mark.
Especially if you look at that pass sorry, Bill, I'll make it quick. If you look at that pass that Mac Jones threaded to him last week and the catch he made, that was fantastic. That was a beautiful catch. Sorry, Bill, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean it's totally fine, but what you said about how Mac Jones is with the greatest coaching staff ever with Bill Belichick. And listen, if this very small tangent here, you guys know since January I've been complaining about in Jacksonville about how Urban Meyer is, first-time NFL coach coaching Trevor Lawrence. And, because I've been screaming since day one, this is not someone you want molding a rookie quarterback to be an NFL star. But when you look at New England, of what you got Belichick, you got McDaniels, molding Mac Jones, and even though, they are winning the games, and is he going to be the next Tom Brady? No. Here's what I gotta say. Listen, you all know I'm not the biggest Brady fan, but here's something that annoys me. Don't try saying he's going to be the next Tom Brady. He's going to be the next Tom Brady. He's going to be the next Tom Brady. Don't say that.
We'll be lucky if we see another
Mac
Brady in our
Jones.
lifetime.
Just turn him into Mac Jones. Don't turn him into the next Tom Brady.
I don't think that they want to turn him into the next Tom Brady. I don't think that was ever the plan. I mean, keep in mind.
I think in spirit, because they want to bring more rings to New England. So in that case, yes.
Well, but
every team does.
But Mac Jones isn't Tom Brady.
He isn't.
So then that whole Tom Brady comparison, it's not going to work here. Because they're two different quarterbacks. So you have to mold him to the quarterback to his best ability of a quarterback for Mac Jones in that case. You have to mold him to that type of quarterback, whatever he can do. And Mac Jones can't do much.
No, as you can see through the weeks that he's played, he's not really a mobile quarterback. Yeah. He's a pocket passer, which there are still plenty of them out there, don't get me wrong. And when he gets that 3 seconds that he needs, he's pretty damn accurate.
Yeah.
However, he has something that, I'm not going to say Tom Brady really didn't have. He's got a real persistent runner in Damian Harris. Yeah. Tom Brady had a real committee over the years. He never had that number one running back. It was always between White or, in a combination of people. One who Belichick always was a ground game coach, but he kind of curtailed to Tom Brady's strengths, and Tom Brady could throw the ball. In this case, a balance is more needed.
Yeah, and now that there's full control of the coaching staff with this offensive playing scheme that they have, it's turning out well. And let me tell you something. Again, Patriots, they in terms of like the big wide receiver plays that they do, the long passes, they don't do that. It's short passes, a lot of the run game, like you just said, Mark, and they just pound their way through. They know how to win games.
Yeah. And, whilst we're on the topic of New England, whilst we're on the topic of New England,
Yes.
What was New England's key to success this season due to their free agency approach? Ops guy.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a coach like Bill Belichick and you have a talented staff of scouts and assistant coaches, and especially, with the move on of Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and they're rebuilding this team, bringing in what they've done has put a winning team on the field. I mean, mind you, yes, maybe it's just me, but I think we all picked the Bills to run away with this division. Now it's only a game. It's not a runaway anymore.
Oh, absolutely.
Danny boy.
I mean, I would think that the free agent signings certainly helped, but I think it was more the fact that they found a quarterback they can trust that wants to win, a quarterback that's eager to win early, and we're able to get the job done. So it's all about team chemistry and finding ways to win, and it's incredible. It's really incredible. And let me just say this: anyone who says that the Patriots are not a threat to the Bills, they are absolutely a threat to the Bills. The Bills haven't impressed me in November so far. So, you know what I mean? Look, they beat the Jets. I'm sorry, you should beat the Jets anyway. But the Patriots.
All you got to do to beat the Jets is have a pulse. No offense, Reggie.
But yeah, exactly. But the Jets. Sorry, but the Bills haven't impressed me. Patriots have been impressing me since they played the Bucs. Every single week, it's getting better and better and better and better. And they're getting even more dangerous. And if you're a fan, if you are an AFC fan or any NFL fan, you have to be scared of the Patriots and their rise because they could be very lethal.
Oh, absolutely.
This New England team is on its way back to greatness. And as Dan said, yeah, and Bill said, yeah, all you have to do to show up to beat the Jets, no offense, Dan, is have a pulse. But you want to know what? I'm still going to stand by the same statement we've used for 20 plus years. Any team can beat any team on any given Sunday. And we've seen that happen all throughout the season. Yeah. Stranger things happen. However, this New England team is not only based on its offense, it's their defense, which has always been stellar over the last decade. Bill.
Yeah. And that's the thing we've all been saying since the day Brady packed away for South Beach. And, me, Reg, and our fearless leader, President Lawrence Patch Van Lang, has said the AFC East is going to be the Bills division. It's going to be the Bills. That's going to be the Bills division. Last year it was. This year, like Reg just said, they're not impressing me that much. They've been shaky, even though they are in first place. Because even if the Patriots win tonight, they're one game back in the loss column from the Bills.
Right.
They're one game back from the loss column. So the Patriots are in it. But if the Pats win tonight, that is sending a message to Buffalo. No offense to our dear friend Nate Moser, but there's a slight chance he's watching this, isn't there?
Doubt it.
But yeah, no offense to our good friend Nate Moser, but but tonight, if the Pats win, they're sending a message to Buffalo saying, you counted us out you thought we went away last year, but we're back.
The AFC East over the last decade has always been dominated by the Patriots. And yes, we all thought once Tom Brady and Gronk left, things were going to change. And they did a little bit, but it just proves that Belichick wants to win, and it's win at all costs for him. He doesn't mind rebuilding. He doesn't mind taking on whatever he has to do. He wants to win. Dan, what do you think on that?
Well, I think losing Tom Brady, obviously, no one wants to get rid of Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. But losing Tom Brady was probably the best thing to happen to Belichick, because imagine having to carry that burden of, well, what if there was what if Tom Brady stayed in New England for the entire career and Belichick left, after Brady's career was over. Like, imagine that. Imagine having to carry that. Being like, is Belichick just Belichick because of Tom Brady? Well, now he gets to prove that, and he has so far. He's not going to win a Super Bowl this year. I shouldn't be saying stuff like that, but I'm just giving my opinion. But, it's probably the best thing to ever happen to him right now, because he can do things his way. And keep in mind, he has a lot of power in that New England organization. So he's been doing things his way. Imagine having Tom Brady at 45. Belichick would have lost his mind. He lost his mind. It's a good thing for Bill Belichick.
And going off what you said, because last year, it was Brady's first season in Tampa Bay. We had that question that was going to be asked. Was it Brady that needed Belichick, or was it Belichick that needed Brady? And because what was the big point that Brady wanted to prove last year? I don't need Bill Belichick. I can win without him. And now Bill Belichick, he does not necessarily have to prove that he needed Tom Brady. He does not necessarily need to prove that he needed Tom Brady to win a Super Bowl. Like, people forget he's won 2 other Super Bowls without Tom Brady.
Yeah, but he needed Tom Brady to beat Matt Ryan.
And,
Speaking of Matt Ryan,
and that's a lovely transition. But one last question. You think before we dive over to Atlanta, before we go down south, y'all, but anyway, let me make that point. Sorry. Okay. But like I said, Belichick doesn't necessarily need to prove that he needs Brady to win a Super Bowl. But I think he would like to show, see, I don't need Tom. Tom didn't need me when he won in Tampa. I don't need him here in New England. See, the feeling's mutual. Tom. So before we go to, what do you say about that, Reg?
You said it perfectly. You said it perfectly. Again, so the best thing to ever happen to.
So the best, quoting the great philosopher Chicago, everybody needs a little time away. I heard her say, even couples need a holiday from each other. Anyway, going on, and one last question before we go to Atlanta. Are the Patriots a legitimate Super Bowl contender?
No.
Really?
No.
Elaborate.
Not this year. They're not far. They're missing some key pieces, a little bit of line help. They need another receiver. Hunter Henry has proved a very good free agent pickup for them in the tight end position. But when you have Jacoby Myers and Kendrick Bourne, not to say they haven't had good years, they're not elite receivers. And if they're covered and Damian Harris is stopped, They have some problems. Their defense can match up with almost anybody on the field, but they're not Super Bowl ready yet. Dan?
Real quick.
No, I don't see it yet. I think there's too many dangerous teams in the NFL for them to even get to Super Bowl.
Okay, I'm gonna say, like what Mark said, maybe not this year, maybe in the next year or so. Okay, now we got to dive down south. The Atlanta Falcons. Okay, so we're gonna start off by asking, okay, Matt Ryan. Should they consider trading Matt Ryan this offseason?
With Matt Ryan's contract, I don't think they'll be able to get a trade because of the amount of money he would be owed, but I do believe the team has a buyout for this year. And I think it's time. Look, I've been a fan of Matt Ryan for a very long time. However, he's got to realize that he has no chance in Atlanta to win right now. They have no running game. They have no passing game. He should pull a Matt Stafford, sign a 1 or 2 year deal with a top contender, go there, try to win a ring before it's all over.
Greg, what do you think?
I mean, look, it's one of these ways. One way they can get rid of Matt Ryan, obviously, is through buyout, but also through trade. I don't care what it is. They have to get rid of him. And it's not because Matt Ryan's a bad quarterback. It's because Atlanta's in this new phase of their organization where they need to take on someone younger. They need to take on, or maybe not even someone younger, someone that could be the quarterback for their team, for this new generation of, Falcons and all that stuff, and new coaching, all that stuff. I think keeping Matt Ryan around, again, I understand, you sign him to a contract, but it's like, eventually you have to move on. So however they want to do it, the whole point is to make sure he goes somewhere where he knows he can thrive, because Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. And I feel awful that, he has to suffer with this just god-awful team. Like, it pains me because Matt Ryan, he's a great quarterback.
My thoughts is they should let him just finish out his contract because he's getting up there in age, and who's really gonna?
But save him, give him enough time to actually prove that he can win a Super Bowl or get close to it. Don't just be like, well, we're just gonna write out his contract and then he's too old to even get onto another team. So come on, like that. I would definitely go that route.
If they do trade him, I found 6 destinations he might go, but I'm only going to give you 3.
Okay.
Here's the ones I think he might be going to, and you tell me agree or disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh.
No.
Houston.
No.
What team in Houston? What team in Houston is he gonna thrive with?
And they're talking if Rodgers doesn't come back, Green Bay, which I don't know if I see that.
Oh no!
No, he's not a winter quarterback. That's the problem. He's not a cold.
He plays in a dome. He plays in a dome.
It's not only that. He's even said he does not thrive in cold weather.
Yeah.
So you have to rule out a lot of destinations. The only destination that I see Matt Ryan going, to be honest, and that's if Russell Wilson leaves, is Seattle. That's the only place I can actually see him pulling off something great. Yeah. He would have the receivers he needs. He has a running game, and they have a defense somewhat.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I don't know where Matt Ryan would go, or if he would just maybe finish out his career as a Falcon. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. So my next question is Arthur Smith, his first season as head coach. What do you think so far?
It's not a bad season. Again, Atlanta's not that good. They're not good. But I think they have a good coach. I mean, this guy was in Tennessee for a long time, as an offensive coach and a very good offensive coach. I mean, this guy made, Tannehill look amazing. So, that's something you also have to keep in mind, is that he got this job for a reason. It could just be that, just like Robert Saleh, just one of those growing pains that he has to take as a rookie head coach, to just go through whatever he needs to go through, figure out his kinks and, find his groove. And then the hope is that he gets a team that he could win with. And, I have the tough times criticizing rookie head coaches. That's why, again, like I said, I haven't even gotten on Salah, and Salah has made some awful, awful decisions as Jets head coach so far. But I'm not going to the extreme, because that's the first season he's ever been a coach in the NFL, like a head coach. So give him some time, and hopefully free agencies and good drafting will propel the Falcons, hopefully a glory. And again, this is also a tough NFC, so you have to also keep that in mind. Hold up, Sky.
Arthur Smith, I give the guy a lot of credit for getting them 4 wins with the depleted, team that they have, with no running game. Unfortunately, the loss of Calvin Ridley was very, very substantial. But you have to look at what he's done. He turned Cordell Patterson into a great double threat, whether as a wide receiver or as a running back. And Dan put out another good point. He's a rookie quarterback with Robert Saleh. He's going to have time to learn. And he's got to rebuild that team pretty much from the ground up. It's going to take a lot of work, but I think, they started with a good future piece in Kyle Pitts. Yes. That was a great draft pick. They need a new quarterback, and they need a handful of pieces. I don't know what Atlanta's cap situation is going into next year, but this is a bye season for them. Bill?
I totally agree. I think Ridley being out is going to be a big hit for Atlanta. And I think they're going, and I think Arthur Smith needs to sort of rebuild this team, and and that's going to be with the front office too, depending on what's going to happen with Matt Ryan next year or whenever his contract's up. So yeah, he might have to retool this team even more, get more weapons for Ryan or the next quarterback. But 4 wins, passable, not great, but it's like a C-. It's on the cusp between the D+ and the C-. What was that?
Still a passing. I said it's still a passing grade.
Yeah, I tend to be very. If I was a professor, I'd be very stringent with my grading. But anyway, but now, do we think the Atlanta Falcons are a playoff team? Let's be honest here, folks.
When you look at last week and what happened to them, I mean, look, yes, they went up against a top-tier Dallas team that dismantled them, literally on both ends of the ball. Look who Atlanta has beaten, and it's not that hard to look at the teams they've beaten. It's not really any top-tier teams. Atlanta is one of those franchises that builds, does well, and then has to rebuild, kind of like the Miami Marlins, if you want to pin up a franchise like that. But that's fine. Are they a playoff team? Not by any means. If they make the playoffs, it's by a fluke. And I mean a real fluke. That means to have one hell of a collapse in the NFC for that to happen. Danny boy?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that they're not going to playoffs. I can't see it happen. And, but again, I'm not looking for the Falcons to make the playoffs. They have to they have a lot of decisions as an organization to, if Matt Ryan stays or goes, that's a decision that they're going to have to make. And if he stays, what weapons are they going to bring him? Are they going to bring on another quarterback to, grow with this team, to be sort of a successor? So, and then, you got to get their defense, more offensive weapons, better offensive line. These are things that, Atlanta needs to worry about that more than worry about the playoffs. And if they want to go for a playoff, I am all for it. But, really, development is the key. Now, part of developing is winning. So that's something to put out there. But, development is also understanding that your players are not quite there yet. And your coach isn't quite there yet.
Okay. And here are my thoughts. I don't think Atlanta's going to the playoffs this year, guys. Sorry, Atlanta fans. But, if you look at the playoff picture, the three teams they got above them are Carolina, Minnesota, and San Francisco. And Carolina's got that last seed in. Minnesota and San Francisco are sort of on the outside looking in. So I don't think Atlanta is going to the postseason. Again, maybe when you retool, maybe they will be a playoff team one day, but not today.
No.
Okay. Anyone else got anything else to say?
Nope.
I'm good.
I'm fine.
It is time for the 5. Okay, so we got 3 topics that everyone's given a top 5 on. Okay, the first one, the top 5 Patriots in our lifetime, excluding Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start with Ops Guy.
Well, as I've always said, I'm much older than most of these guys here, so I've seen some players go back in the day. But my top 5 looking at the Patriots over my lifetime, Ty Law, one of the best defensive players to ever play the game. Teddy Bruschi, a great linebacker and a full feature in that early 2000s team. Willie McGinnis was a great lineman and pass rusher for the Patriots. This is a little-known name, but he was such an influence. David Patton. I mean, if the ball was thrown his way, it's caught. And, of course, Julian Edelman. I mean, those would be my 5 if I don't include Brady.
Reggie, over to you, buddy.
All right, here's my top 5. Adam Vinatieri, a legendary kicker, always in the clutch, got it done. Vince Wilfork, being that nose tackle that could do so well in that 3-4 scheme, he was a beast. Rob Gronkowski, because he's just an amazing tight end, great weapon. Wes Welker, a lot of people forgot about Wes Welker.
Yeah.
About how much of an impact he's had on those teams, especially the late 2000s, early 2010s, running to Super Bowls like nothing. Wes Welker was a big time target. And Bill, I know you said don't use Tom Brady. I'm sorry. You can't have top 5 without Tom Brady. It's absurd. It is absolutely absurd.
Do you hear that, Rifkin? It's absurd.
Yeah.
Well, no offense to our dear friend Mike Rifkin.
Yeah.
But so Brady, you know what, Reg? I do agree with you.
Right.
When I'm saying without Brady, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a tough one. But I tried to, and listen, again, not a Brady fan, but if I did get to use Tom Brady, I would put him at number 1.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I cannot have a top 5 Patriots without Tom Brady. It's not not that I can't do it. It's just that I won't do it because it's silly. I'm gonna give an honorable mention because Mark pointed out great about how big of an impact Teddy Bruschi's had in that early 2000s. Being a little bit of the older guy, in those early times with the Patriots. It was a good job by him. Go ahead.
Okay. Like I said, in spirit, I would put Brady at number one. But me following the rules of the list, here's my top five. Teddy Bruschi, Wes Welker. This one is a shout out to my good friend, Mr. Ted Peck. Ted, if you're watching, this is for you, buddy. Mr. Julian Edelman.
Okay.
Troy Brown. And number one, I got to put him there. Second to Brady, you have to put him there. Gronk. I feel like this is like everyone's second to Brady list. Okay. Now, the top five Falcons in our lifetime. We're switching things up. Red, we're starting with you.
Devontae Freeman is one. Only because he's we're very running back. There's John Abraham. Yeah, big time player. Tony Gonzalez at 3. I love the fact that late in his career, how much he was able to spark in Matt Ryan's growth, and he was a big time weapon for those Atlanta teams that were on the cusp of something special. They didn't do anything, but they were right there. Roddy White, he's another one that when you needed a weapon, you knew it was coming to him. You knew it was going to him. He was very reliable. Matt Ryan's my number one, and Matt only because I look at quarterbacks as like the leader of that team, and I can't think of the Falcons in my lifetime without Matt Ryan. And then of course the honorable mention for me is Julio Jones. And I know Atlanta misses him big time. I know he wasn't very productive. His last couple of seasons, especially this season, he's battling injuries and stuff. But you can't dismiss, the type of receiver he was for the Falcons.
All right. Over to you, old ops guy.
Okay, going back in for the Falcons. Number one, Andre Rison. There's a player we don't hear a lot about, only because he was a very violent football player, but he was a damn good wide receiver. Had some great years with Atlanta. And of course, you can't mention Atlanta without Deion Sanders, where the man got his start in football and was absolutely dynamite before heading to San Francisco, Dallas, Baltimore. Julio Jones, at the end of his career, he wasn't effective, but when he was on and he was in his prime, you didn't stop that man. It didn't matter. He was the DeAndre Hopkins of his time. The ball was up. He caught it. Matty Ice. I've loved Matt Ryan for a very, very long time. I think he is a future Hall of Fame quarterback. It'll be a while before he gets in unless he wins the Super Bowl, but he'll get there. And then a surprise number one, Jamal Dirty Bird Anderson, the man who created the Dirty Bird, a great running back for the Falcons, in their heyday, but really was a guy who had only a few stellar years. But when those years mattered, they were solid.
Okay, and now here are my top five. My number 5 is Roddy White. My number 4, he was a huge weapon in Atlanta. In Tennessee, not so much, and that is Mr. Julio Jones. I always thought he was great, but the problem is the last couple of years he's been hurt. Okay, my number 3, I know this guy had a lot of problems off the field. And I know Peter's probably going to be protesting outside my house for this one. But my number 3 is Michael Vick. I thought when he was playing, I thought he was really good. I really liked him, and I really enjoyed watching him. And again, putting his personal problems aside, I really thought he was a good quarterback. My number 2 is Matty Ice. I think the guy is not ice. But thank you, folks. I'll be here all week.
Don't try the
And-
veal.
What was that, Mark?
I said, don't try the veal.
And my number 1 Atlanta Falcon is Tony Gonzalez. 6-time first team, 14-time Pro Bowler, 1,325 receptions, 15,127 receiving yards, and 111 receiving touchdowns. So those are my top 5 Atlanta Falcons. Now, as we close out today, what are your predictions? For tonight's game, let's start with Danny Boy Reg.
I'm going to go with the Patriots. They'll play boring football again. Short passes, running game, nothing exciting. They'll easily win this game by 10.
Looking at the game on paper, this should be a game that the Patriots come in and win without a problem, especially after watching what happened to Atlanta last week. Like Dan said, running the ball will be key for them tonight, and considering Atlanta's run defense is pretty weak, Damian Harris should have a good game. I got the Patriots by 17.
I'm going to say, Reg was saying that they're going to play boring football, but I think that's what they need tonight. So I'm going to say Patriots 27, Falcons 17. All right, guys. Well, that is our show. We hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more, and why wouldn't you, like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to our website at www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com and check out all our content, our blog posts, and check out all the podcasts at the Sports Insanity Podcast, Wishbone Shotgun, Face Turn, Breakaway Bandits, and our new show, The Throwdown. Check those out. They're available on all podcast platforms. And also, don't forget to watch the Sunday Sideline Report, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. And we will not be here next week for Thanksgiving, but we will try to get a Thanksgiving show sometime out this week.
Yeah, there'll be something.
There'll be something
we'll
for
get
you
something.
folks.
Yeah.
And
There'll
don't
be
forget
something.
to listen for the Sports Insanity Podcast. That is usually once a week.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you, folks. Enjoy some football. And I'd like to thank Mark and Danny Boy Reg for being with me tonight. Enjoy some football, folks. Thank you very much. Stay safe and take care.